The Universal Declaration of Human Rights recognises in Article 25 the right to housing, preceded by Article 24, which guarantees, as everyone knows, the right to party. Did you realise over 2 billion people worldwide have no access to fat beats? Often the two collide via short-term rental site Airbnb.
Police have launched an investigation after a party at an Airbnb in Melbourne spiralled out of control.
The renters stole everything from bedding to dishes in the kitchen cupboard. And, seen here on camera, Heather says they hauled out her new smart TV.
Catherine Swan had no idea her apartment was being advertised on Airbnb.
Ari Tiemann rented his New York City apartment on Airbnb to a man who claimed his brother and sister-in-law were visiting.
It turns out by brother and sister-in-law, he meant large orgy.
Large orgy gives new meaning to the phrase sharing economy. These cases are rare, but at least they show people coming together. And that is the point to Airbnb, to make yourself comfortable in strangers' homes.
Go look through their windows so you can understand their views. Sit at their tables so you can share their tastes. Sleep in their beds so you may know their dreams.
Sleep in their beds so you may know their dreams. Stick their toothbrush up your arse so you can be their nightmares. Now, if you feel warm and fuzzy about Airbnb, it might be because Australians are the top users per capita of Airbnb. Nationwide, listings more than doubled year on year for the past 3 years and continue to rise, with Sydney now the 4th most popular Airbnb destination in the world. Best of all, you don't even need a bed to get in on the action.
If you don't have a spare bedroom, even your garden shed can be rented out.
Yeah. Your garden shed. Yeah, sleep tight, don't let the redbacks bite. Perfectly located near a hospital, 5 stars. CEO Brian Chesky says Airbnb is not only win-win for guests and hosts, but for the whole of society.
What we stand for in cities is just a very, very basic idea. And that is that we exist to enrich and strengthen the cities and the neighborhoods that we serve.
Oh, yeah. No, what is with the dress code for Silicon Valley CEOs? Seriously? Oh, you're a tech billionaire. You're too busy for buttons? In only a few years, Airbnb has grown to become bigger than the 3 largest hotel chains combined. But at its core, the company just wants to lift up the little guy.
You have mortgages and you have property tax and maintenance, water, electricity, all of that I have to pay for. And having Airbnb really helped us.
I love rescuing animals and it gives me an additional income to help these animals, whereas things were really tight before.
That ad literally says, use Airbnb or the puppy gets it, right? And if you think Linda and Renaya are the norm, think again. In Melbourne, 40% of hosts list multiple properties. In Sydney, 30%. At a time when Australians are already struggling to find affordable homes to rent, Airbnb is not helping. We did a bunch of research and found out that in the cities of Melbourne and Sydney, the number of entire homes listed for tourists on Airbnb exceeded vastly the number of vacant properties available to renters. And if you're wondering what effect that can have, well, officials in Berlin blame Airbnb for helping cause rents to increase 56% over 5 years. And there are other problems.
The disproportionate amount of damage is caused by people renting out apartments for the weekend.
Sees a sign and decides to rip it off the wall.
Just 14 of the building's 350 properties are used for short stays, but he says all the owners are bearing the cost.
Now, before you judge him, he's just trying to get the toothbrush out of his arse. Cities around the world are dealing with the housing squeeze and other problems posed by Airbnb. They've put measures in place.
Starting in January, it would automatically block hosts in Amsterdam and London from renting out entire homes for more than the city's legal yearly limits.
They must reclassify their properties as visitor accommodation or face a $300 fine.
Rentals will be limited to 2 rooms per property for at most 4 months per year.
Berlin has made it illegal for people living there to let entire homes to tourists through Airbnb. If found breaking the law, which goes by the name of Zweckentfremdungsverbot, they can be fined up to €100,000.
Zweckentfremdungsverbot, yes. Which, of course, is German for now we're just taking the piss. Airbnb is active in 191 countries and valued at $30 billion. New York, Paris, Reykjavik, Amsterdam, London, Seoul, Singapore have all acted to better incorporate Airbnb into their communities. And the big response in Australia so far? One state government has released a consultation paper, or what the Germans would call Scheissenhausen.